Blogs. A blog is a discussion or informational site published on the World Wide Web and consisting of posts or entries. Recently, multi-author blogs have developed with posts written by many authors. Majority of blogs are interactive. They allow visitors to leave comments and message each other on the blog site. In this sense, blogging can be seen as a form of social networking service. Many bloggers report some sort of income from their blogs, most often in the form of ad revenue. Podcast is a form of digital media that consists of a series of audio or digital radio episodes subscribed to and downloaded through web syndication or streaming online to a computer or mobile device. A webcast is a media presentation distributed over the internet using streaming media technology to distribute a single content source to many simultaneous listeners or viewers. Webcasting differs from podcasting in that webcasting refers to live streaming, while podcasting refers to media files being made available on the internet. Viewing a web page on the World Wide Web normally begins either by clicking on the URL of a page into the web browser, typing the URL into the web browser, or by clicking on a hyperlink to that page or resource. The web browser then initiates a series of background communication messages to fetch and display the requested page. In the 1990s, using a browser to view web pages and move from one web page to another by clicking on hyperlinks came to be known as web surfing. Search engines are programs that search for documents using specified keywords. They return lists of documents where these keywords are found. Some examples of search engines are Google, Bing, Yahoo Search. Search engines are constantly updating their databases to keep their lists of documents current. They do this using programs called spiders, web crawlers, spider bots. Web search engines get their information by web crawling from site to site, returning the information that the search engine can use to locate the sites that might be requested by users. Information such as titles, page content, JavaScript, cascading style sheets, headings, or information in the HTML meta tag. Web pages can include a robots.txt file containing directives for search spiders. These directives tell spiders how the owners or creators of the site would like the search engines to deal with the site information. Of course, this text file, the content is purely advisory. The spiders' search engines have no real obligation or necessity to even pay any attention to this. Malicious web robots are unlikely to honor robots' point text. Some may even use the robot's text as a guide to find disallowed links and go straight to them. No web crawler can possibly crawl the entire reachable web. The web is just too big. It would take way too long. 2009 study showed that even the largest scale search engines index no more than 40 to 70% of the indexable web. The social networking service, social networking site, SNS, is a platform for building social networks or social relationships among people, for connecting people who share similar interests, activities, backgrounds, or real life connections. Social network sites are internet based services that allow an individual to create a public profile, create a list of users with whom to share connections, and to view and cross the connections within the system. Social networking sites allow users to share ideas, share pictures, posts, activities, events, and interests with people in their network. The main types of social networking services are those that contain category places like former school year or classmates, a means to connect with friends, usually with self-description pages, recommendation systems linked to trust. Popular connection methods now combine many of these. American-based services like Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Instagram, Reddit, Pinterest, Vine, Tumblr, and Twitter are widely used worldwide. It has become quite common for politically motivated entities to make use of social networking to further their goals. Russia made extensive use of social media to support the candidacy of Donald Trump in his presidential campaigns. Trump himself made extensive use of Twitter to promote his views and positions. Then, when his Twitter accounts were suspended, he created his own SNS called Truth Social. China has been accused of using social media for gathering intelligence, and recently efforts have been made to ban the use of Chinese systems, and specifically TikTok. Because TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, many fear that the Chinese government might use it to gather intelligence. Social media has been growing rapidly, both in number of users and the effects it has on the lives of the users. More and more people have been publishing information online in various forms: newsletters, YouTube videos, live streams, blogs, vlogs. Some of these content creators have attracted large numbers of followers. Now, to be quite truthful, in many cases, the individuals who attracted largest followings were already at least somewhat famous for being actors, musicians, athletes, so forth. Very soon, advertisers began to realize that these content creators could influence their followers, cause them to buy things, and the content creators came to the realization that advertisers were willing to monetize online activities of users, at least the users who had significant numbers of followers. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the standard language used for creating web pages. Web browsers read HTML files and interpret them as the code describing how web pages are to be displayed. It's used to describe structures of websites. HTML elements form the building blocks for the websites. HTML allows images and objects to be embedded and can be used to create interactive forms. It provides a means to create structured documents. It describes things like headings, paragraphs, lists, links, quotes, and lots of other items. Along about the end of 1980, computer scientists started becoming aware of a need for network security, a need to protect the computers and the data on their networks. Worms and viruses were starting to proliferate. Hackers were starting to try to gain access to the networks. Some of these hackers were just intent on doing damage to the systems. Others were trying to gain access to the information because, of course, information is valuable. One of the security techniques that was developed for protecting networks is a firewall. There are two kinds of firewalls, network firewalls and host-based firewalls. Network firewalls typically establish a barrier between one network and other outside networks. Host-based firewalls provide software on a host that controls network traffic in and out of that single machine. Computers send and receive information to and from other computers in the network, often to computers on other networks. It's the function of a router to determine where to send and whether to accept this kind of information transferred between networks. Routers then perform traffic directing functions on the internet. Information to be transferred to other computers is divided into data packets. Each data packet is forwarded from one router to another router through the connected networks that constitute the internetwork until it reaches its destination. A router is connected to two or more data lines from different networks. When the data packet comes in on one of the lines, the router reads the address information in the packet to determine its ultimate destination. Then, using information in its routing table or a routing policy, it transfers the packet to the data line that sends it to the next network on its journey to the end site. A server is a computer that receives and responds to requests from client machines. Server provides services to the clients. Usually, the service is to send information of some kind or to receive information and process it in some way. In the context of the World Wide Web, a server is a computer on the internet on which there are a number of web pages stored and which will send a copy of one of these pages when requested. Most of the web pages on the internet are accessible by means of links in other pages and or can be found using search engines. There are, however, a large number of websites that are hidden from these kinds of searches. This darknet websites are accessible only through specific encryption-protected networks. Two examples of the darknet networks are Tor, the Onion Routing Project, and I2P, Invisible Internet Project. Tor browsers and Tor accessible sites are widely used among darknet users and can be identified by the domain .onion. Tor focuses on providing anonymous access to the internet. I2P, on the other hand, specializes in allowing anonymous hosting of websites. Identities and locations of darknet users stay anonymous and cannot be tracked due to the layered encryption system. The darknet encryption technology routes users' data through many intermediate servers, guaranteeing the anonymity and protecting users' identities. The transmitted information can only be decrypted by a subsequent node in the scheme, which leads to the exit node. This complicated system makes it almost impossible to reproduce the node path and decrypt the information layer by layer. Because of the high level of encryption, websites are not able to track geolocation and IP of the users, and the users are not able to get this information about the hosts. Darknet users can talk, blog, and share files confidentially. A darknet is often used for illegal activity, illegal trade, illegal exchange of media, for pedophiles and terrorists. Transmission Control Protocol, more commonly TCP, is one of the core protocols for the Internet Protocol suite. It originated in the original network implementation, where it worked together with the Internet Protocol, or IP. The combination, very commonly referred to, TCP/IP. TCP provides a reliable, ordered, and error-checked delivery of a stream of packets between applications running on hosts communicating using an IP network. TCP is the protocol used by major internet applications like the World Wide Web, email, remote administration, and file transfer. User Data Protocol, commonly UDP, is another widely used protocol in the internet. Like TCP, UDP provides delivery of a stream of packets between applications running on hosts communication over an IP network. The UDP packets are not error checked. UDP is used for applications like internet telephony, where time of arrival is important and the loss or miscommunication of an occasional packet can be tolerated. As personal computers have become cheaper and easier to use, it's increasingly common for a family to have several computers in their home, or a small business to have several computers in an office. These computers are often connected to each other to facilitate intercommunication. Such a group of connected computing devices forms what we would call a local area network, or LAN. The LAN allows its users to transfer information from one computer to another. It also allows them to share access to resources like printers and internet access devices. TCP/IP protocols can be used for private local networks as well as for internet. These local networks using TCP/IP protocols are called intranets. Intranets can be connected to the internet as well, or they can be isolated. The websites on an intranet and the software applications look and act just like those on any other kind of network. If an intranet is connected to the internet, its websites and software are typically going to be protected by a firewall and inaccessible from outside. When a company allows external access to part of its intranet, for example, some parts might be accessible to customers or suppliers, then the system is called an extranet. Twisted pair cabling is a kind of wiring with pairs of wires twisted together. The reason for doing this is to cancel out, eliminate electromagnetic interference, EMI. Twisted pair cabling was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, so it's been around for a while, primarily originally used for telephones. Wi-Fi is a local area wireless computer networking technology that allows electronic devices to connect to the network. Two primary types, 2.4 gigahertz or 12 centimeter UHF, and 5 gigahertz, 6 centimeter SHF ISM radio bands. Lots of devices use Wi-Fi: personal computers, video game consoles, smartphones, digital cameras, tablet computers, and digital audio players among them. These can use wireless technology to connect to other network resources: printers, modems, routers, access points, and gateways. Wireless networks are generally not as secure as networks connected by wires. Wired networks, at the most basic level, send data from one computing device to another along a network cable. So only transmits data or information between devices connected to the network cables. Wireless networks, on the other hand, broadcast data in every direction to any device within the range that happens to be listening to data. Several wireless security protocols have been developed to protect home wireless networks. These wireless security protocols include WEP, WPA, and WPA2, among others. In addition to preventing uninvited guests from connecting to your wireless network, these wireless security protocols encrypt your private data as is being transmitted over the airwaves. A web portal is a specially designed website that brings information from diverse sources: email systems, online forums, and most commonly search engines, brings this information together in a uniform way. Early web portals included AOL and Yahoo. Apart from the common search engine features, web portals will generally offer other services: email, news, stock quotes, information from databases, entertainment. Portals provide a way for enterprises and organizations to provide a consistent look and feel with access control and procedures for multiple applications and databases that otherwise would have to be use different entities at different URLs. In software design, the idea of a look and feel is a term used to respect to graphic user interfaces, and it comprises aspects of its design, including elements such as colors, shapes, layout, typefaces, the look, with the basic elements of the display, as well as behavior of the dynamic elements, buttons, boxes, and menus, the feel, so that basically things have a similar layout and are interfaced using the similar kinds of interface elements. The term look and feel can also refer to aspects of a non-graphical user interface as well, mostly to parts of its functional properties. The term is used in reference to both software and websites. Look and feel also applies to other products. In documentation, it would refer to graphical layout, document size, color, font, and so forth, and writing style. In the context of equipment, it refers to consistency in controls, and it displays across a product line. For many businesses, it's not convenient to connect devices with physical cables or with a local wireless system. For such situations, it's possible to create a virtual private network, or VPN, by using other public networks, usually the internet, as a communications medium. A VPN is created by establishing a connection over existing networks. VPN technology was developed to allow remote users and branch offices to access corporate applications and resources. A VPN extends a private network using a public network for communication and enables users to send and receive data across the shared or public networks as if their computing devices were directly connected to the private network. Applications running on a computing device, a laptop, desktop, and so forth, across a VPN can benefit from the functionality, security, and management of the private network. VPN users use the same kinds of authentication methods and passwords, certificates, as are used in any other network. In addition, however, communication on a VPN is inherently public. Network security generally requires that all of the network communication be encrypted. The encryption-decryption process necessarily interferes with the communication speed. Since the internet is used in so many ways and by so many people, it has important social effects. New norms for internet communications, called netiquette, have been developed. Information and communication systems have become targets for attempted theft and/or damage, and this requires users to take special means to protect their systems. The term netiquette is used to refer to online etiquette over networks, such as the online communities, forums, and even online learning environments. Following the rules of netiquette improves the readability of messages, lays the groundwork for making trustworthy connections, and helps other people to better understand you. Abbreviations and acronyms are commonly used in online communications to quickly express words and phrases that we use in everyday conversation. Writers often use emoticons to convey their feelings in electronic communications like text messages, emails, and message boards. Emoticons blend text and punctuation together to visually portray facial expressions. Smiling, winking and smiling, laughing, frowning. Oh, hashtag is a type of tag used on social networks that allows users to apply dynamic user-generated tagging, making it possible for others to easily find messages with a specific theme or content. Hashtags support easy and informal markup. Users create and use hashtags by placing the number sign or pound sign, also known as the hash character, in front of a string of alphanumeric characters, usually a word or unspaced phrase, in or at the end of a message. The hashtag may contain letters, digits, and underscores. Searching for a hashtag will yield every message that has been tagged with that. The use of hashtags originated on Twitter, but quickly spread to other social media and later into the popular culture.